Okay, so trying to make another video about subject matters for, to which people are able to relate. And it's like very personal information. I don't know how other people do it. It seems to me that, like, my soul going out of body and all that stuff is a lot, what do I say, like, less personal? It is less personal. It's like the Lord gave me a way out, a way to uh, mark a new lease on life, turn a new lease on life. Yeah. So that I don't have to wallow in the muck of I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have to, like, give me an analogy. Um, I don't have to drown in my own blood, kind of thing. The Lord gave me an escape, because my soul was going out of body and all of that. And so when I don't really talk to people, but in a way I do. It's kind of keep it small talk. Whether I'm in the corral and we're talking about music, or whether I'm, in church groups, which is not as much lately. I don't know if it's because of the alternative news here, like the ITCCS and so forth. But I'm working one-on-one with a spiritual director, the Monsignor, um, to kind of sort that out. When I had a different spiritual director, it was a little, well, I would say it was more personal, but I was getting some, like, conflicting messages from him. Anyway, yeah, my obsession has been up here, after ITCCS. See, first of all, I came here after I dropped out of choir. The choir was my, I want to say, my remedy, that kind of thing. It was my drug to sing in the choir for like 8 years, more than 8 years. And I got tired of the way I was being treated by one of the directors because there was a high turnover rate. And then I came on to here to upload some Catholic music because I was feeling melancholy. And then I came across statements from the ITCCS in the margins. First, I think it went end time events, and I was interested because I was overwhelmed with, things going on that I perceived were going on in the news, I guess. And then, and so I was looking that up, and then I would come across the ITCCS, and I just was beside myself. I just was floored. But after a while of, of all that, trying to, well, I kind of would have to brainwash myself with it because my mind would evict it. My mind couldn't retain it, and I just, like, it would shake it out. Did I really, did I hear what I thought I heard? Kind of thing. Could it be real? Um, it, this type of stuff. So I did a lot of investigation to kind of pound it into my head that it could be real. And sometimes I'm still not sure. Do I remember? Do I remember what I saw? Do I remember what I heard? No. I know I saw and heard something traumatic, but I don't remember the details. I still visit with that kind of stuff. So then I went and I worked on myself I don't know how I came across these sites in mental health called narcissistic injury. Yeah, I don't know how it just kind of came up. Must have been by accident. All these sites in psychology on narcissistic abuse. So, so here I am back where I started, um, trying to join that, that and the there's the walk away movement, which could be associated with the ITCCS in by right, you know, in essence, because it's a similar, type of thing in virtue. And, or I could, kind of cling to the movement on narcissistic abuse. They're pretty closely related anyway. Um, but the movement on narcissistic abuse is, run by psychologists largely. Some of them are by sometimes the victims want to run their own sites and speak up. But like I said, that's if my spirit were separating from my body to go elsewhere, um, on any sort of freak accident, as it were, um, that it was a consideration. Let's put it that way. Having been subjected by a borderline, there it would be no wonder my spirit was trying to separate. But yeah, so Dr. Ross calls them borderlines are pathological narcissists. That's what he calls them. So yeah, there's some differences of opinion as to um, uh, where on the spectrum maybe that they are. And so anyway, not sure. Did God, choose me for something um, extra special so that I could come back and be a messenger? That's what I thought. I thought that because, um, I didn't. I had given it some consideration that maybe it was a freak accident because I had been subjected to borderline behaviors in somebody while I was trying to grow up. But then I, also because of the political symbols that were accompanied, I couldn't help but wonder. It what seemed to just jump out at me was that this is more of a hallmark type of message that isn't just for me. And that's what the clergy thought as well. This isn't just for me, this is too important. It's too important a witness for it to be just um, meant for me. And anyhow, um, so then you get the atheists up in arms, and but fact of the matter is, the only thing that I can positively prove to myself was not just psychological, and the brain, misfiring and all of that. Positively, without a doubt, couldn't be just the brain chemicals misfiring. Was that was the outer space trip, because there was the eclipse that I had seen first, while my soul was out of body and I was drawing nearer and nearer to it, and then I was instantly placed back in my body. I woke up and I saw the same exact lunar eclipse with the naked eye. So that is the only experience that can't be explained away. psychologically. That was definitely my soul going somewhere and separating from my body. And we talked about that before, how energy lives on, it goes somewhere, like water, steam, and ice. A piece of wood, the energy from a piece of wood will um, remain in the universe for like 1,000 years or so before it just ceases to exist. And classical science has proven that. Anyhow, like I said, I can't say more than that because regarding narcissistic abuse and um, coming under the subjugation of a borderline, or in their domination, or um, wild personality kinds of influences. I can't really talk in detail about that to join the that chorus, and I certainly don't know how the other victims of this um, get away with it, or even feel comfortable doing it. But all the power to them. So they've been extremely helpful. I don't know why some of them have been suspended recently, but most of them are still up and running, and certainly there's going to be some sort of a censorship at some point for a lot of people up here on YouTube and social media. So again, I don't have a whole lot of viewers, and maybe it isn't God's will for me to have a whole lot of them. And I'm trying to understand that one. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but all I need is one or two or three of the right type of viewers to get some representation. And I think that's probably what I need, is the representation that comes from um, authority figures in the church, or within the organization called Not in Our Name. So let's get together and brainstorm. We'll figure this out. Hopefully, find friends here and not just enemies.